What do you like about your new job?
It's really exciting and fun. Oh, filming now.
Kooyong, we've had an extraordinary year. After a mammoth community effort to elect an independent voice, it's been a pleasure and a privilege to serve as your independent member for Kooyong.
She's the Teal Queen.
We did it!
Here's a bit of a montage of what we've achieved together in our first 6 months. You asked for strong action on climate change. I've worked with the other independents to pass legislation to increase Australia's 2030 emissions reduction target from 26% to 43%.
The people of Kooyong made history in May. For the first time since Federation, they sent a representative to Parliament to fight for climate action on their behalf. We on the crossbench have worked hard and we've secured some improvements to this bill.
Whilst it's not enough, it's a start.
Over time, we must act to increase the ambition and scope of the targets in this bill.
I've called repeatedly for the government to stop supporting new fossil fuel projects like the Middle Arm development.
It is unconscionable that the possibility of new gas projects is even being entertained by this government.
Monique advocated for policy reform to accelerate the uptake of electric vehicles.
Widespread use of EVs in the Australian transportation fleet will deliver significant economic, environmental and health benefits. Having fuel efficiency standards won't cost families anything, it actually won't cost the government anything, but it will change the nature of the car market in a really positive way.
I worked with Helen Haynes and other independents to help create strong and comprehensive legislation for the National Anti-Corruption Commission.
The people of Kooyong voted for integrity of every sort in every circumstance. That's the promise I made to them, and it's the promise I commit to keep.
And I spoke out against the government reducing transparency over political donations made by superannuation funds. I've advocated for the rights and protection of whistleblowers, including the campaigns to bring Julian Assange home to Australia and to have charges dropped against whistleblower David McBride.
Together, we've put the logging of native forests back on the national agenda.
We could meet our 2030 emissions reduction target simply by stopping native forest logging.
Monique called for the government to immediately close down the offshore detention centres in Nauru and Manus Island. And she moved a motion calling on the government to allow tens of thousands of people living in our communities on temporary protection visas the ongoing right to work.
I spoke out against the gender pay gap, advocated for the rights of care workers and early childhood educators who are overwhelmingly women, and I moved an amendment to improve the ability of women to fight sexual harassment and discrimination cases in the courts. I met with experts and advocates working to end violence against women and their children, and I took their concerns to Parliament. While both major parties seem to want to pretend that the pandemic was over, I have maintained pressure on the government to keep COVID-19 management at the top of our agenda on health. If we are all being vaccinated, we're doing that for each other. It comes down to people understanding and rejigging that message that we are doing this together, and it's a positive thing, not something about which we need to feel anxious, upset or uncertain. I was elected to the Parliamentary Committees on Health and the NDIS. We're undertaking a parliamentary inquiry into the impacts of long COVID and repeated COVID infection in order to shape policy into the future. And I developed a private members bill to compel the NDIA to act more quickly to find appropriate housing for NDIS participants who are currently left to languish in hospital. Together, we have stood up for the values of Kooyong. We've achieved so much already, but there is so much more work to do. Thank you all for your incredible support. None of this would be possible without you.
We are so proud of her being our local candidate.
She has put a great deal of effort to make sure that the climate bill has gone through.
I think she's just showed exemplary skill in dealing with a pretty complex set of situations up in Canberra.
She's bringing a wealth of experience to the position, which can only benefit us all.
Monique is a tower of strength to anybody who knows her.
Working together, we can be a parliament that actually listens to the voices of its voters. We can be a parliament that exceeds expectations.
Wishing you all safe and happy holidays. I look forward to making a great impact on the issues you care about in 2023.